get us started with what do we mean by life-size replicas and cosplays in terms of our company, in our industry, in our agency? What are we talking about when we say that?
Yeah, so when you're talking about cosplay, it can mean a lot of different things, and there's certainly a fan side that we'll talk about. But for us, it means when we're contracted or hired or contacted by one of our partners to bring something from the game to life. And this can be an item, a weapon, a full set of armor, or a character or creature itself. So it can sort of mean any of those things, but we're working with the people who made the game or published the game.
So the ideation process all the way to, getting the item done.
For the Diablo project, so there's a character, Inarius, who is a fallen angel, I believe, from the Diablo franchise. And we were asked to bring this character to life for a real world marketing activation. And so with our team, we first started looking at concept art, and maybe the character appears in a new way in the game that's about to launch right around the corner. In this case, it was Diablo 4. We got our hands on everything we possibly could in terms of references, 3D models, basically like 3D models on the internet from the developers, whatever was available. And we kicked things off with just as a concept, right? So we made some sketches. We figured out what pieces of the costume we could make. There's a part in there where you have to think about any adaptations or adjustments that might be necessary in order to get it to actually be wearable by a human. Because a lot of things in video games, they look great, but aren't always the most functional. You might not be able to bend your elbow or something like that.
And so the whole process you're describing is kind of similar to another project that I remember. We did a life-size Chocobo statue for Square Enix years ago for E3. And those were giant foam blocks cut out on the CNC machine, because we couldn't make a single piece because it was so big. It was 9 feet tall. And so we had to make chunks of foam block that we then joined together and plastered over.
Talking about giant statues, the process is similar, but on a large scale. And there's like a couple different ways you can go about it. The first one, I would say, is for like a really high quality result. You would maybe 3D print a few pieces and then do milled foam to sort of like sculpt out these large scale pieces that all assemble together. And from those initial sort of cuts and sculpts that you make, then you would cast it in a lightweight resin, right? And then sort of put it all together, sand away any lines so you can't see like the seals or seams, and then go about painting and finishing it. So that's one way. You could also just use the foam itself with a hard coating and then paint over it. So there's like sort of, and then there's just, you can just do 3D printing as well. But the downsides, I guess, with 3D printing are that it's like heavier, less durable. Same with just using the foam hard coated. And so if you're able to do like the full epoxy resin cast version of it, it takes a little longer, but in the long run, it's lighter, it's easier to ship around, and more durable.